The broadcast began with silence. Across the galaxy, screens lit up in homes, warships, marketplaces, and cities that stretched for miles. It was the Galactic Council's official channel, the most powerful voice in known space. When the red emblem of the Council appeared, every species stopped what they were doing. The message was clear. This was not entertainment. This was law. The camera showed a massive arena on the Council's capital world. Its walls rose like mountains, glowing with cold light. In the center, the floor stretched wide, and upon it, row after row of humans stood. 50,000 of them. They were prisoners, captured in raids across colonies and battlefields. Men, women, even some too young for war. Their hands were bound, their faces pale, their clothes torn. Floodlights burned down on them, stripping away dignity, leaving only fear. The alien announcer's voice echoed through every speaker. People of the galaxy, today you witness justice. These humans are enemies of peace. They defy the Council's order. They cling to violence. And so, we show the fate of all who resist. The first line of humans was dragged forward. Soldiers of the Council, tall, insect-like warriors, raised their energy blades. A single command echoed, sharp and cold. The blades fell. The humans dropped. The crowd in the arena, filled with alien citizens, erupted in cheers. Some clapped their hands, some hissed approval, others raised banners. To them, it was a spectacle, a warning, and a celebration all at once. On Earth, no one cheered. Every home, every cafe, every public square, every military bunker, all watched in silence. The air was heavy. Parents clutched children. Soldiers clenched fists. News anchors tried to speak, but their voices cracked. No one turned the broadcast off. They could not look away. The executions continued. Row after row. Each death was broadcast with precision, zooming in, showing faces, broadcasting screams. The Council wanted Earth broken, but Earth did not break. The camera cut suddenly to the Galactic Council chamber. Massive alien leaders sat in a circle, their heads high, their voices filled with pride. One spoke, his skin shimmering with silver scales. Let this be the lesson. Earth must kneel. If they do not surrender within 7 cycles, their entire world will share this fate. The feed ended with the Council's crest, a sharp claw around a globe. Then the screens went black. For one long minute, Earth was silent. In New York, in London, in Moscow, in Lagos, in Beijing, people stared at blank screens. Anger grew like a storm, building in silence, waiting to burst. Finally, a new image appeared. It was Earth's emergency channel, one used only in the darkest times. The president of Earth appeared. His face was pale, his eyes heavy, but his voice was steady. Behind him, the Earth flag waved, not as decoration, but as defiance. They think fear will break us, he said. His words were carried across Earth and to hidden colonies in the stars. They think executions will silence us. They believe we are weak. They are wrong. The silence on Earth broke. In homes, voices rose. In bunkers, fists slammed tables. Soldiers shouted. Civilians cried out. Rage turned into fire. The president leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. They showed us their cruelty. Now we will show them our strength. We are not alone. We are not defenseless. And we are not finished. The feed cut again. The speech was short, almost too short. But it was enough. Something had shifted. In secret bases under mountains, doors opened. Engineers rushed to machines that had been hidden for decades. Weapons were pulled from vaults labeled Project Iron Fist. Commanders received sealed orders marked only for their eyes. In the cold depths of space, small fleets that had been hiding in asteroid shadows came alive. Engines powered up. Crews strapped in. Red lights flashed across cockpits. Whispers began to spread, faster than the Council could control. On alien worlds, citizens replayed the executions, but now they also replayed Earth's words. Some aliens who lived under Council rule began to feel something dangerous. Doubt. Could it be true? Could humans, these fragile creatures, rise against the Council? The galaxy had seen humans bleed. Now, for the first time, they might see humans strike back. But Earth's leaders knew the cost. Every death on that broadcast was a wound. Every scream was fuel for vengeance. But vengeance alone was not enough. The Council expected anger. They expected rage. What they did not expect was patience. Planning. A hidden hand waiting for the right moment. Commander Elias Rains, a veteran scarred from the First Wars, stood in a bunker far beneath Nevada. He watched the last seconds of the broadcast on a cracked monitor. The screams still echoed in his head. He did not look away. When the president's speech ended, Rains turned to his officers. His voice was cold as iron. "Open the vaults," he ordered. "The Council thinks Earth is broken. Let's show them how wrong they are." Above ground, cities mourned. Families wept for the 50,000 souls lost. But beneath the ground, engines roared, machines awakened, and strategies unfolded. Earth was not broken. Earth was preparing. And though the galaxy did not know it yet, the executions were not the end. They were the beginning. Beneath the deserts of Nevada, deep inside a bunker older than most of its soldiers, alarms began to pulse red. The walls were steel and concrete, but the air inside was alive with tension. Men and women in dark uniforms hurried down corridors, carrying data tablets, weapons, and sealed orders. At the heart of the bunker was a vast chamber, hidden from satellites and sensors. Here lay the project Earth had never spoken of in public, the secret the Galactic Council had never discovered. Project Iron Fist. Rows of strange machines stretched across the floor. Some looked like tanks, others like sleek missiles, and others like ships still in construction. Their shapes were sharp, alien yet human. They were built from technology not born on Earth. For years, human scientists had stolen, scavenged, and reverse-engineered bits of alien wreckage from forgotten skirmishes. The Council believed humans too primitive to use it. The Council was wrong. A tall man with gray hair and a scar across his cheek stood at the center of the chamber. Commander Elias Rains. His eyes were cold, his shoulders straight, his voice sharp. Every soldier in the room turned when he spoke. "They killed 50,000 of ours on live broadcast," Rains said. His voice carried through speakers across the base. "They think we will kneel. They think they've broken us. But this," he gestured to the rows of machines, "is what we've been building while they laughed, while they mocked us, while they called us weak." The soldiers straightened. The scientists looked up from their consoles. They wanted to scare Earth into silence. Rains continued. "Instead, they've given us fire. We don't strike to defend anymore. We strike to show the galaxy that humans do not die quietly. We will not be erased. We will be feared." The chamber shook with the sound of soldiers pounding fists against steel tables. Outside the bunker, across Earth, other hidden bases came alive. In the frozen lands of Siberia, under the mountains of South America, inside hollowed-out islands in the Pacific, all were linked to Iron Fist. Hidden for decades, built in secret, funded by sacrifices no citizen had ever known, these bases were ready. One scientist, Dr. Lian Zhu, stood beside Rains. Her eyes burned with anger behind her glasses. She pressed a button, and a hologram filled the air. It showed a small alien device, glowing with blue light. "This," she said, "was taken from a council wreck 20 years ago. They called it a phase core. They used it to power their stealth ships. We improved it." The hologram shifted. Now it showed a human starship, sleek and dark, with a glowing core inside. "We built it into something they will never expect. It makes our ships vanish from their senses. We are ghosts now." A murmur spread through the room. Soldiers grinned. Pilots nodded to one another. Rain stepped forward again. "They think they're untouchable. They think only they control the sky. But tonight, our fleet will strike first. Small, precise, a whisper before the storm." At those words, lights across the chamber turned green. Hidden hangar doors deep under the desert began to slide open. For the first time, Earth's secret fleet would leave its cages. Far above the planet, in Earth's orbit, the Council spies scanned but saw nothing. Their senses told them Earth was quiet, broken, waiting. They did not see the ships rising through hidden shafts. They did not hear the engines roaring low. The first ship that rose into the dark sky was called the Resolute. Its hull was black, its edges sharp. It carried no markings, no flag, no sound. But inside, its crew were human, their faces hard with purpose. A young pilot, Lieutenant Aisha Karim, looked out at the stars from the cockpit. Her hands trembled only slightly as she whispered to herself, "For the 50,000. The Resolute joined others, the Defiant, the Valkyrie, the Hammerfall. 10 ships in all, small compared to the fleets of the Council, but silent, hidden, and armed with weapons the galaxy had never seen humans use. Back in the bunker, Dr. Ju leaned close to Rains. "If this fails," she said quietly, "the Council will know everything. They will come with fire." Rains did not blink. "If this fails, the Council will burn Earth anyway. Better we fight now, with teeth, than die crawling." The fleet turned its nose toward the stars. Engines fled. In seconds, the ships were gone, slipping into faster-than-light travel. They carried no flags, no announcements, no mercy. Their mission was simple: hit the Council where it thought itself safe. Not to destroy, but to remind. On alien worlds across the galaxy, citizens replayed the execution broadcast again and again. Many laughed. Some cheered. But whispers began to spread. Rumors that Earth had not submitted. That Earth had teeth hidden in the dark. Council leaders dismissed the rumors. "Humans are primitive," one scoffed in the chamber. "They cannot fight us. They cannot even survive us." But in the shadows, deep in the black between stars, the humans were already coming. Their anger was sharpened into steel. Their grief was forged into fire. Their plan was set, and their first strike was only hours away. The stars stretched endless and cold, but 10 human ships cut through them like knives. The fleet was small, only a handful of vessels, but each carried the weight of 50,000 dead. At the center was the Resolute, its black hull invisible to alien senses. Inside, the crew sat silent. Every breath felt heavy. Every second felt stretched. Lieutenant Aisha Karim gripped the controls, her dark eyes fixed on the glowing path ahead. The ship's AI whispered status reports in her ear. "Stealth active. Engines stable. Enemy detection probability, less than 1%. Commander Rains's voice came over the comm from his own ship, the Defiant. "Cold, steady, unshakable. Remember why we're here. We are not ghosts for the sake of fear. We are ghosts to free our people. Strike hard. Strike fast. Then vanish." The target was an orbital station near the rim of Council space. Not just any station. It was a prison hub. Hundreds of humans were rumored to be held there. Prisoners never shown on broadcast, vanished from the records. The Council believed no one would dare to come for them. They were wrong. The fleet slipped out of faster-than-light travel in a burst of silence. Ahead floated the station, a giant ring wrapped around a burning red star. Dozens of alien ships patrolled lazily nearby, their weapons idle. To them, it was routine. Humans were broken. No one would attack. The Resolute drifted closer, invisible. Its hull absorbed scans, its engines bent light. To alien eyes, it was only darkness. "Approaching target," Aisha whispered. Her fingers hovered over the weapons controls. Sweat ran down her neck. Inside the prison station, thousands of cells glowed blue. Behind each barrier, prisoners lay silent, half-starved, forgotten. A sudden alarm blared through the station. One guard tilted his head in confusion, checking his scanner. Nothing showed. No ships, no enemies, just empty space. And then, the first explosion. A hidden missile from the Hammerfall struck a patrol ship, ripping it apart in a ball of fire. The sound shook the void, and suddenly every alien ship came alive. "Humans!" One screamed into the comm. "Human ships in orbit." The Resolute uncloaked, its black hull gleaming in the star's red light. Aisha pressed the trigger, and twin plasma cannons fired. Another patrol ship cracked in two. Flames danced across its hull. The Defiant moved like a predator, sliding between 2 alien cruisers. It fired once, and one cruiser exploded. Rains's voice came cold through comms. "No mercy." The Council fleet scrambled, but their sensors lagged. They were blind. By the time they locked onto human ships, 2 more were gone. Inside the prison station, alarms screamed. Guards ran to control panels. One alien officer barked orders, but the sound of metal tearing drowned him out. A boarding craft from the Resolute smashed through the hangar doors. Human Marines in dark armor stormed inside. Go, 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 their captain roared. Plasma fire filled the halls. Aliens fell, their weapons useless against the Marine shields. Prison doors burst open one by one, and dazed humans stumbled out. Some were too weak to walk, carried by soldiers. Others grabbed fallen weapons and joined the fight. One prisoner, an old colonel with chains still around his wrists, shouted through cracked lips, "I told them Earth would come. I told them we were not finished." The Marines pushed deeper. Every hallway was chaos. The smell of burning circuits and blood filled the air. Prisoners cried, Marines shouted, guards screamed. Back in orbit, the battle raged. Human ships darted between enemy fire, striking with precision. They fought not to destroy everything, but to humiliate, to show the galaxy what humans could do. A council captain aboard a cruiser watched the broadcast. His face paled. The humans weren't supposed to have this power. They weren't supposed to fight back. His last words before his ship was split apart. They were supposed to be weak. On the ground, the prison station shook violently. Fire spread across its hull. But in the hangar, human Marines loaded the freed prisoners onto shuttles. Each second mattered. If reinforcements arrived, they would all be trapped. 30 seconds. Aisha called from the Resolute, guiding the shuttles into her bay. Move faster. The last group of prisoners ran across the hangar floor. Behind them, an alien guard raised his weapon. He fired, but before the bolt struck, Commander Rain stepped out of the smoke. His rifle barked once. The alien dropped. Rainsy's voice boomed. Get them aboard. Leave nothing behind. The shuttles sealed. Engines roared. One by one, they launched into the void, docking with the fleet. The prison station cracked apart behind them, its fuel reserves exploding in a fiery chain reaction. The blaze lit up the star system. Billions of aliens across the galaxy saw it live. The same network that had once shown human executions now showed something else. Alien ships burning, prisoners escaping, humans fighting. For the first time, fear spread in the other direction. The fleet vanished into faster-than-light space, leaving nothing but ruins. The Council scrambled to explain. Their broadcast twisted the story, calling it a terrorist attack, a desperate act of savages. But no amount of lies could hide the truth. Humans had struck, and they had won. In the silence of space, aboard the Resolute, the freed prisoners sat in stunned disbelief. Many wept. Some prayed. A few simply stared. Commander Rain stood before them, his scarred face lit by the glow of the stars. He did not smile. His voice was low, steady. This was only the first strike, he said. The Council thinks it owns the galaxy. From this moment on, they will learn the truth. Earth is not prey. Earth is the hunter. The prisoners, the crew, the soldiers, all erupted in a roar. The sound filled the ship, shaking the walls. For the first time since the executions, they felt not just grief, not just rage, but hope. The galaxy had witnessed Earth's defiance. The spark was lit. The war had truly begun. The Galactic Council chamber was a place of grandeur and fear. It was carved from black stone, domed with glass that revealed the burning stars above. A circle of towering thrones surrounded the central floor, each seat held by one of the galaxy's great powers. For centuries, these thrones ruled every corner of known space. Their decisions were final, their power unquestioned. But on this day, the chamber shook with anger. At the center, a hologram played the images no one could ignore. Human ships burning council patrols, a prison station collapsing in flames, and prisoners escaping under human banners. The same network that had shown executions now displayed humiliation. They struck us like thieves in the dark, bellowed Lord Caerol, a reptilian giant with golden scales. His voice rumbled across the chamber. They were supposed to be broken, weak, yet they kill our fleets and steal our prisoners. This is a disgrace. Across the circle, another voice answered, calm, smooth, but laced with fear. It came from Chancellor Vila of the Varians, tall insectoids with crystal wings. It is more than disgrace, Carol. It is danger. We laughed at them too long. We thought executions would frighten them. Instead, it has sharpened them. Look at the images. They fight like predators. A chorus of voices rose, alien tongues clashing like blades. Exterminate them now. Burn Earth to ash. Do not underestimate them. They are still nothing, a primitive world pretending to be strong. The chamber lights flickered as the arguments grew louder. The Speaker of the Council, a massive creature with skin of shifting stone, finally raised a hand. Silence fell. The humans have wounded us, the Speaker said, his tone deep and cold. But we must decide, are they a threat or an annoyance? Do they deserve our full wrath, or shall we crush them quietly? The debate ignited again. Lord Carol slammed his clawed hand against his throne. They are vermin. Crush Earth, and let their ashes feed our children. They cannot be allowed to live after such insult. Chancellor Vila leaned forward, her wings shimmering. And yet, every time we kill them, they rise fiercer. Every time we humiliate them, they return stronger. Do you not see? If they fight like this now, when they are weak, imagine what they will become in a century. A silence fell at her words. The thought was dangerous, but real. Humans had only touched the stars for a few decades. Their ships were crude compared to Council fleets. And yet, they had stolen technology, adapted it, used it in ways the Council had never imagined. No species had risen so fast. They are not a threat, muttered another alien, a sleek amphibian with glowing eyes. They are an annoyance. We could send 10,000 ships, and their world would drown in fire. End it before the galaxy begins to believe their lies. But even as he spoke, some council members shifted uneasily. Already, reports came in of whispers across the galaxy. On worlds under council rule, citizens had seen the broadcast. Some cheered the humans. Others murmured admiration. For the first time, cracks appeared in the council's mask of fear. The humans had shown the galaxy that the council could bleed. In the shadows of the chamber, an aide hurried forward with a data crystal. He handed it to the Speaker, who placed it in the central projector. The chamber filled with Earth's emergency broadcast, the President's speech. His pale face, his steady eyes, his words. They think fear will break us. They are wrong. The alien leaders watched in silence. Some hissed with hatred. Others lowered their heads with unease. Lord Carol snarled, his teeth flashing. Arrogant insects. We should tear his world apart and show his skull on every broadcast. But Chancellor Vila whispered, almost too soft for others to hear. Or we should fear him. For he speaks like one who already knows victory. Her words cut deep. The Speaker finally rose, his stone body towering above all. Enough. This council cannot fracture. We will vote. Shall Earth be destroyed or contained? One by one, the voices gave their answers. Some shouted for annihilation, their eyes burning with rage. Others urged caution, warning of what humanity might become. The chamber split nearly in half, the circle of rulers no longer united. As the debate raged, hidden cameras broadcast the session to select networks. Those censored, fragments leaked. Citizens across the galaxy saw council leaders arguing, something never shown before. They saw fear in the council's eyes. They saw division. And they whispered a dangerous thought. If the council fears humans, maybe humans are worth following. On Earth, the resistance leaders watched the leaked footage. In the bunker beneath Nevada, Commander Rains leaned over the screen. A thin smile crept across his scarred face. They are divided, he said. They don't know whether to kill us or fear us. That's our opening. That's our weapon. Dr. Jew nodded. If they split, they weaken. And if they weaken, we strike harder. Across the fleet, soldiers and prisoners alike began to believe. The executions had filled them with rage. The first strike had filled them with hope. And now, the Council's division filled them with something even more dangerous. Confidence. The galaxy was watching. The Council was shaking, and Earth was preparing its next move. The sky above Jupiter burned with storms. Red clouds twisted like endless scars, lightning cracking in silence across the gas giant's face. To most of the galaxy, this was a wasteland of storms and emptiness. To humans, it was something more, a weapon waiting to be used. In the shadow of its moons, hidden deep inside its swirling magnetosphere, Earth had been building. Bases carved into ice, satellites disguised as rocks, weapons buried in orbit. For years, this place had been prepared for one moment. That moment had come. The Galactic Council had voted in fury after the prison raid. Enough hesitation, enough division. They would crush Earth before whispers turned into rebellion. And so they sent a fleet. 10,000 ships. They came like a tidal wave of steel and fire, their drives flashing across the void, their banners stretching across the stars. From battleships longer than cities to swarms of small frigates, the Council had gathered a force meant to terrify. The message was simple: Earth would not survive the week. On Earth, citizens saw the broadcasts. Council ships filling the sky, fleets marching toward their world. Panic spread. Cities prepared for fire. Families buried messages for children who might never grow. But deep in the bunkers, leaders were calm. Commander Rain stood before a wall of screens in the Nevada base. His officers waited in silence. On the main display, the swarm of Council ships glowed like a plague across the stars. "They think this is a hunt," Rain said. His scarred face was calm, his voice sharp. "But it's not. It's a trap." Dr. Ju stepped forward, her hands trembling not from fear, but from anticipation. "We've waited years for this alignment. Jupiter's storms, the magnetic fields, the weapons. If they come where we want them to, they'll die where we want them to." Rain's finished. The trap was set. The Council fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Jupiter, their ships stretching across space like a wall. Alien commanders barked orders, certain of their victory. Cut off the humans. Burn their fleets. Leave nothing alive. Their scanners swept the void. No human fleet appeared. Only empty space, Jupiter's storms, and its moons. "Perhaps they've already fled," one alien laughed. "Primitive cowards." Then, the trap closed. From behind Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, human ships rose. Not hundreds, not thousands, only dozens. But each was cloaked, armed, and aimed. They fired in silence. Missiles streaked from the shadows, piercing the first wave of alien frigates. Explosions lit the void. The Council fleet reeled in confusion. "Where did they come from?" an alien commander screamed. The answer came too late. Jupiter itself came alive. From its orbit, hidden satellites activated. Massive coils unleashed beams of electromagnetic fury. The planet's storms, harnessed by human technology, became weapons. Lightning arced across the void, frying alien systems. Entire ships went dark, drifting helplessly before being torn apart by missiles. The Council fleet scrambled to respond. Thousands of ships turned their cannons toward the moons. Destroy their bases. But the bases were not targets, they were lures. As soon as alien fire began, charges buried in the ice detonated. Europa cracked apart in a blaze of plasma, ripping through the heart of the alien formation. Hundreds of ships vanished in seconds. On board the Resolute, Lieutenant Aisha Karim shouted through the comms, her hands steady on the controls. "They are panicking. Their formation's breaking." Commander Rainsey's voice cut through. "Do not chase them. Cut them apart piece by piece. Make the galaxy see them bleed." Human ships darted like predators, striking isolated cruisers, vanishing back into Jupiter's storms. The Council fleet, built for overwhelming force, was too large, too rigid. Against humans, it was blind. In the Council chamber light years away, leaders watched the disaster unfold on live feeds. Their mouths hung open. 10,000 ships had been sent to terrify Earth. Now thousands were burning, their wreckage spiraling into Jupiter's gravity well. "No, impossible," whispered Lord Cairol. "They are ants. They cannot do this." But they were doing it. The battle raged for hours. Alien commanders screamed into their comms, desperate to restore order. But every maneuver fell into another trap. Every advance met hidden weapons. Every retreat left them exposed. Finally, the Council fleet broke. Those who could flee jumped to faster-than-light escape, leaving behind wreckage and thousands of dead. Silence fell across the system. The storm clouds of Jupiter glowed with fire from burning ships. Human vessels drifted among the wreckage, silent, watching. On the bridge of the Defiant, Rain stood before the glass. His officers waited, breathless, hearts pounding. He spoke at last, his voice low but steady. They came to break Earth. Instead, Earth has broken them. Send the message. Across every channel, every world, the broadcast went out. Images of Council wreckage, ships burning in Jupiter's storms, and the voice of Commander Rains. Earth does not kneel. Earth does not break. If you come for us, you will fall. The galaxy watched in silence. Billions of citizens stayed at the feeds, their jaws tight, their thoughts racing. The Council had promised easy victory. Instead, they had been humiliated before every eye. For the first time in centuries, the Council looked weak. And for the first time in history, Earth looked strong. The galaxy shook after Jupiter. World after world replayed the broadcasts. Human missiles shredding cruisers, Council battleships burning in storms, the once invincible fleet running in panic. Whispers spread through the markets, through the streets, through even the lower ranks of the alien armies. If Earth can do this, what else can they do? The Council scrambled to hide the truth, but it was too late. Images had already gone viral on thousands of systems. Their lie of superiority was broken. Their enemies, the silent colonies they ruled through fear, began to stay. But the Council was not finished. They ordered another fleet, even larger than the last. 50,000 ships this time. Enough to sweep through Earth's defenses, Jupiter or not. Enough to drown humanity once and for all. On Earth, news of the Armada spread quickly. People whispered in subways and shelters. Families stocked food and water. Some cried quietly in the night. Others clenched their fists. They had seen Jupiter. They had seen that Earth could fight. And now they prayed Earth had more. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a base carved through stone, Earth's leaders gathered. The air was tense, heavy with the smell of recycled oxygen and the hum of machines. President Hale stood at the head of the table, his voice steady but sharp. The Council will not stop. Jupiter hurt them, humiliated them, but it didn't destroy them. The next wave will be worse. If we stand in their path again with the same weapons, we will be crushed. The room fell silent. Everyone knew the truth. Humanity had won a battle, not the war. Then Commander Rains leaned forward. His scar caught the light as he spoke. Mr. President, it's time. Hale's eyes narrowed. Time for what? Rains looked at Dr. Ju, who gave a small nod. The room seemed to tighten as she pulled up a projection on the wall. A ship appeared. It filled the screen, dwarfing anything the Council had ever shown. Its hull was black, scarred with scars of construction, lined with weapons glowing faint blue. Entire cities could have fit inside its frame. It was a monster, silent and waiting. Project Atlas, Ju said softly. Built in the Kuiper Belt. Hidden for years. A fusion of stolen Council technology and human design. It is not a fleet. It is not a base. It is something new. Gasps filled the room. Generals stared, jaws tight. Advisors muttered in disbelief. You mean, we've had this all along? One finally asked. Rains nodded. Every raid, every battle, every sacrifice bought us the time to finish it. Atlas was never meant for defense. It was meant for this moment. To strike at the heart of the Council. The President's voice was low. You're proposing we attack them? No, Rains said. His eyes were sharp, burning. I'm proposing we end them. The day Atlas moved was like the awakening of a god. In the black silence beyond Neptune, hidden behind fields of ice and shadow, the colossal warship stared. Engines the size of mountains rumbled, sending tremors through space. Its hull lit up with shields stolen from Council design, its cannons primed with Earth's fiercest weapons. To the human crews stationed nearby, it was like watching a myth step out of the dark. By God, whispered Lieutenant Karim as she stared through the viewport. It's alive. The Atlas moved forward, silent and unstoppable, its shadow stretching across the stars. Inside, tens of thousands of crew members worked in perfect rhythm. Soldiers drilled in steel corridors. Engineers ran checks on reactors that glowed like suns. Pilots sat ready in fighter bays, their faces set, their hands steady. Every man and woman on Atlas knew the truth. This ship was not just steel. It was Earth's last card, and it was aimed at the Council itself. When the Council fleet arrived near Saturn, expecting a cornered enemy, they found something else. First came silence. No human fleet in sight. No bases firing. Only empty void. The Council commanders laughed. They've run. The Ants have finally learned their place. Then the darkness moved. Atlas stepped from shadow, a giant dwarfing every ship in sight. Its weapons lit up, brighter than the storms of Jupiter, brighter than the stars. The Council fleet stopped. For the first time in centuries, their voices broke with fear. What is that? The answer came with fire. Atlas unleashed its fury. Cannons tore through cruisers in single shots, reducing warships to glowing fragments. Beams of energy lanced across space, ripping fleets apart as though they were paper. The void filled with wreckage, screams, and fire. The Council's 50,000 ships were no longer hunters. They were prey. Inside Atlas, Rain stood at the command platform, his voice carrying across the ship. Today, the galaxy sees the truth. They thought Earth was weak. They thought fear would break us. But fear is theirs now. We are not prey. We are the storm. The crew roared, voices echoing through steel. The ship pressed forward, carving a path straight toward the Council's core worlds. On distant planets, billions of citizens watched the live feeds in disbelief. The Council's fleet, the fleet they had always feared, the fleet that had always crushed rebellion, was burning. And a single human ship was doing it. Some cheered, some wept, some whispered, afraid but hopeful. If humans can defy them, maybe we can too. The Council chamber erupted in chaos. Leaders screamed over each other, demanding retreat, demanding vengeance, demanding explanations. But one thing was clear. The galaxy had changed. And Atlas was coming. The galaxy trembled as Atlas advanced. Every jump it made shook the political order. Systems once loyal to the Galactic Council whispered rebellion. Armies muttered in silence. Traders raised their heads in defiance. The sight of one human warship tearing through fleets had cracked centuries of fear. And now the giant moved toward the Council's capital system, Varian Prime. It was a world of shining spires and endless seas, the seat of power for half the galaxy. Alien leaders ruled in luxury, their words law across thousands of planets. No enemy had ever reached it. No weapon had ever threatened its sky. Until today, Atlas dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond Varian's star. Its shadow swallowed the horizon. Thousands of Council defense ships moved to intercept, but fear already gnawed at them. Hold the line, their commanders barked. It's only one ship. But in their hearts, they knew. This was no ordinary enemy. This was a storm that had broken fleets at Jupiter and Saturn. Atlas did not slow. Its cannons ignited, tearing through the first wave of defenders in a blaze of fire. Beams of plasma cut through cruisers like paper. Missiles streaked into enemy formations, splitting them apart before they could regroup. Council ships tried to swarm, but Atlas's shields, stolen, improved, perfected, burned bright. Each impact was absorbed, each strike deflected. The giant kept moving forward, silent and unstoppable. From inside its command deck, Commander Rains watched the enemy break. His voice was steady, cold. They built their empire on fear. Show them what fear feels like. The ship obeyed. On Varian Prime, the Council chamber erupted in chaos. Leaders shouted across marble halls, their voices shrill with panic. Send every ship, one screamed. Open negotiations, another begged. Evacuate the planet, a third cried. But it was too late. Outside, Atlas descended into orbit. Its guns fired in silence, disabling defense platforms, destroying shield generators, peeling away the layers of protection the Council had believed eternal. Then, In full view of billions across the galaxy, Atlas broadcast its feed. The image appeared on every screen, every channel, every world. Commander Rain stood in the command deck, his scarred face lit by fire. Behind him, Earth's flag hung. His voice cut through the void. For centuries, you ruled with chains and fear. You slaughtered our people to make us kneel. But today, the galaxy sees you bleed. Today, the galaxy sees you fall. The chamber of the council froze. Billions across the stars leaned closer. Rain's eyes narrowed. His next words were sharper than steel. Earth does not forgive. Earth does not forget. And Earth does not kneel. Atlas turned its guns toward the capital city itself, the shining jewel of the council. In the streets, citizens screamed. Some fled, some prayed, some simply stayed at the sky where the shadow of Atlas covered the sun. The council's leaders begged for mercy. Stop! You cannot! But Rains gave the order. Atlas fired. The blast shook the planet. Towers fell. Palaces burned. The council chamber, once the heart of fear, crumbled into fire. The galaxy gasped as the feed continued. No tricks, no propaganda. Just the sight of an empire ending. Hours later, the smoke of Varian Prime still rose into the sky. Atlas floated above the ruins, silent and victorious. On board, the crew stared in stunned silence. They had done it. Against impossible odds, against the greatest empire the galaxy had ever known, they had won. Lieutenant Kareem whispered, her voice trembling. It's over. Dr. Ju stood beside her, eyes wet, but her voice was firm. No, this is just the beginning. The council is gone. The galaxy is free. And Earth has just stepped into history. Commander Rains turned to the crew, his voice carrying across the ship. Today, humanity showed the galaxy what it means to fight. We were prisoners, mocked, executed like animals. They thought fear would break us. Instead, it forged us. The council is ash. From this day forward, Earth stands unbroken. And if any empire rises again, we will be there to tear it down. The crew erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through steel halls. For the first time in their lives, they weren't just survivors. They were victors. Across the stars, billions watched in awe. Colonies under council rule lit fires of rebellion. Chains were broken. Flags were torn down. The fall of the council became the spark of a new age. And at the center of it all was Earth, the small world the galaxy had mocked, the fragile species they had called weak. No longer. Earth had fought back. Earth had won. And humanity's name would never again be spoken with laughter. It would be spoken with fear. It would be spoken with respect. It would be spoken with hope.